Friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So as you know that in WebLogic 14.1.2, now the traditional admin console has been depreciated and now it is replaced with the WebLogic remote console, which is a different GUI and has a drastically many changes specifically in comparison with the previous old traditional admin console. Okay, so I have been creating many videos on this remote console and then different configurations, how we can do deployment and then other configurations, specifically using the remote console. So in this session, we are going to cover how we can configure the JMS resources because there are multiple changes in terms of JMS configuration as well. Okay, so that I'm going to explain in this video. Okay, so for configurations, as explained in my multiple videos, we have to go to the edit tree option of the remote console tool because inside the edit tree, we can do all of the resource configuration or to update of the existing configurations, right? And for JMS configurations, you have to go to the services tab. Okay, so first you have to go to the edit tree, then go to your services tab. So inside the services tab, we have the option for configurations of the multiple JMS resources like file store. You have the JMS server, JMS module. Okay, so now if you notice here, in the JMS, we do the multiple configurations like we create the queue, we create the topics, we create the uniform distributed queue, uniform distributed topics, okay, and multiple other resources as well. But those resources are not listed here, right? Okay, so those will be listed only once we will configure the JMS module. Okay, it is almost similar to what we have in the traditional admin console. We create the JMS module, and once we click on the JMS module, then we click on create, and then we get the different options for creating the different kind of resources like queues and topic. Okay, so same concept is here. Okay, so let me quickly show you a configuration for a queue. Okay, so let us first configure a file store. So go to the file store. Okay, so there are some changes specifically when we do the configurations of the queues and specifically the sub deployment. How to do we do the assignment of the sub deployment? It is completely changed now. So that I'm going to show you here. So first we will configure a file store. So let's click on the new. Okay, give a name. Okay, let me give as fs1 file store 1. Click on create. So now here you can see the file store has been created. If you would like to go for a custom specific directory for your file store, you can specify here. Okay, and whatever the location that you want in your file system where you want your message to be saved. If you will not going to save it, then it is going to take the default location, which will be the data directory inside your server staging directory. Okay, so now go to the targets, and here you to specify the targets. Okay, so because we are showing the demo of queue, which is a singleton services, and that need to be targeted to only one single JMS server. So this file store need to target to only the primary managed server, which is the server one. Okay, so click on save. So here we have created a file store with the name of fs1, which we have targeted to manage server 1, right? Similarly, if you want to create or use a JDBC store, you can create JDBC store here as well. Okay, so as of now, we are showing the demo for the file store base. So we have created a file store. Now we need a logical storage for your file store or for your persistent store. For that, we create a JMS server. Click on new. Okay, let me give the JMS server 1 as a name. Click on create. So now you can see the JMS server has been created. Now we need to assign this file store which we have created to this particular JMS server. So here you have a drop box where you can select the file store that you have created, right? Now inside the target again. Okay, so let me first save it. Now go to target, and here we are going to assign it the same managed server to which we have targeted our file store or our persistent store, right? Because we are going to configuration for a queue, and queue is a one-to-one mapping, so we can't target our queue to multiple JMS servers. So we are going to select target as the only one managed server. Okay, so click on save. So we have created a file store which we have targeted to first managed servers, and then we have created a JMS server, and to this JMS server we have assigned the persistent store, and this JMS server we have targeted to the same managed server to which we have targeted our file store. This is the first part, right? Now we have to configure the queue. For that we have to go to JMS module, click on name, and we can give here any name. So let me give JMS module 1. Click on create. Okay, now you to specify a target for your JMS module. So you can go and take the same managed server to which we have assigning the other resources, and click on save. Okay, so our JMS module is ready. Now all the resources will be listed here. Okay, so as of now, there is no resources here. So you need to refresh the screen. For that, you can refresh your screen, or you can just toggle the between the different tabs. Go back to edit, and again go back to services and your JMS module. Now you can see here we have the other options are visible inside the JMS module that we have created, right? So now the first thing, if you would like to do the grouping of the resources that you are going to create, we have to create a sub deployment. So now there is a change in the specifically how we assign this sub deployment, okay, to our other resources. So let me show you first. First, we are going to create a sub deployment, right? So let me create with the name of SD1. And again, this sub deployment we are going to target to same managed server, okay, for which or to which we are assigning all the resources, right? So we have created a sub deployment which we have targeted. I'm sorry, this is a sub deployment. Okay, so sub deployment need to target to your JMS server. Okay, make sure, because we are doing the grouping of our other resources like connection factories, queues for targeting to your JMS server in a single go. Okay, for easy management. So make sure the sub deployment that you are creating for that target should be your JMS server. Okay, if you are going to select the managed server, not a JMS server, then you will get the error later. Right? Click on save. Right. So now we have configured one of the sub deployment, and this sub deployment need to assign to the connection factory or queue that we are going to create, right? So the name of our sub deployment that we have created is SD1. Let us first create a connection factory. Click new. Okay, let me give the name CF1. Click on create. Now you can see the connection factory had been created. So here you can specify the GNDI name, whatever you are going to use in your code for lookup of this connection factory. Now the important configuration here, you can see that sub deployment is by default configured with the name of your connection factory that we have created, right? And this need to replace with the sub deployment that we have created. Okay, there is no dropbox here. You need to manually update this with the name of the sub deployment that we have created. So I have given the name as SD1, right? Now click on save. So now we have created a connection factory, and to which we have assigned sub deployment with the name of SD1, which we have created here, right? Now same way you have to go to create a queue, click on new. You can give any name to your queue, click on create. Okay, so here again you have to specify any JNDI name, okay, whatever you have defined in your code to look up this connection factory. And inside the sub deployment, again you can see the sub deployment created by default with the mentioned with the name of your queue you have created. So this need to replace manually with the sub deployment that you have created. Okay, there is no dropbox again, just like connection factory. Click on save. Okay, so now our all the configurations are ready. Okay, we have created one file store base persistent store. Then we have created a JMS server to which we assigned this particular persistent store that we have created. Then we configured a JMS module. Then we created a sub deployment which we have targeted to the JMS server. Then we have created a connection factory, and to this connection factory we assign the sub deployment that we have created. There is no dropbox. We have to assign the name manually here. Similarly, create a queue and define the sub deployment manually. There is no dropbox. Okay, here specify the word name, whatever you have defined for your sub deployment. So that means our queue configurations is ready. Okay, and now you can see what is the difference between the traditional admin console and in terms of the remote console, and what are the different navigations options for configurations of your JMS resources.